coverkillernation! Yes, back here at this view, and well, look at me. My hair looks fucking ridiculous today. My hair looks fucking ridiculous today. Why is that? Well, just got finished listening to an album. What did this album do? It blew me away, and it's time for me to reflect this upon you. Now, I haven't talked a lot about progressive music so far this year. In reality, progressive music, in my opinion, has been in kind of a down year, or a lull pattern. Either that, or I'm just growing out of it, which is hard to believe, considering it was one of my favorite genres for a while. But it's time for me to speak about progressive music today. It's time for me to speak about progressive metal today, American progressive metal, and that's Symphony X's new album, going to be released this coming Tuesday, ICONOCLAST. Now, if you guys don't know who Symphony X are, you've been hiding under a fucking rock. Seriously, whatever rock you're hiding under, push it off, let the sun shine in, take a look, smell the roses, have some coffee, punch someone right in the face, welcome back. Because Symphony X is widely considered to be one of the best American progressive metal music groups that this company has been able to really produce. Now, of course, this is also the same country that's responsible for Dream Theater, but everybody has some differing opinions on Dream Theater. With Symphony X, it tends to be relatively, there's a simulacrum there. A lot of people really respect this band. A lot of people feel that they are constantly really amping up their sound, that they've been getting better ever since 1994, whenever they were founded, instead of kind of getting to that point and then sort of lolling out a little bit, kind of embracing the plateau and not really trying to take a step in a different direction. So, ICONOCLAST comes out and we have ourselves a paradox, folks. We have ourselves a really strange situation, something that I don't think I've ever seen in heavy metal before. And this is actually where you guys come in. If you guys have ever heard of something like I'm about to describe to you ever happen in metal, please let me know. Because this to me just blows my ass away. There are two different versions of this CD. Now, no. These are not two different albums. These are in fact the same album. Only one version is a one-disc version that has, only, I think it's 9 tracks, whereas the second version has the entire 12-song album, but it's split up over 2 CDs. The first one's going to be at right around 60 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'm not going to sit here and dissect that for you, but the second one, the deluxe edition, as they're calling it, but what it should be called is the regular edition, because it's the whole regular album, is going to clock in at over 80 minutes long. That's the reason why I had to be split up into 2 CDs. I have never heard of this happening before in my entire life. So now here comes the almighty question, the thing that I do best, review this album, that way I can determine for you whether you should get the 1-disc edition, the 2-disc edition, or not get any edition. Well, the results may actually be a little bit surprising for you. This is an album that is extremely lengthy, as the lengths of the albums have really suggested. But my God, that was the quickest 82 minutes of my life. This is a really, really strong record, and I'm going to tell you why. This is a band that has embraced all elements of the progressive metal game. This is a band that's also willing to take what they've done before and move in a different direction with it. Now, they're not necessarily going outside the realm of progressive metal, but in this, the progression and that classic metal trait that reminds you of bands such as Iron Maiden or the new wave of British heavy metal collide. There's a super collision going on here where they fuse together. It's something that we've heard before. It's not a new idea, but Symphony X decides to undertake this, and let me tell you something, folks, they did this extremely well. I am very, very proud of what they were able to accomplish on this particular record. You have soaring riffs. To match the soaring riffs, you have soaring vocals. These vocals, at some points, are just absolutely impressive. They are just very well constructed. This is something that's always been part of their game. This is something that's always been a strong point for Symphony X. But for this album, it must have just been because it was a double album. I don't know. They really amped up their game. They amped it up really well. And I gotta say that that's definitely a true positive. Secondly, the songwriting. The songwriting is very well done. It's layered in the parts that needs to be layered. It's soft and calm and singular in the parts where it needs to be. There's not a lot of over-excessive nonsense on this album, which is hard to imagine considering it's over 80 minutes in length. You would think that there would be so much spacackery, so much just random bullshit that you would not need it all, and you could easily find something that you would cram into your brain as just, this doesn't need to be here. everything on this record that I've listened to, and now I've listened to multiple times, feels like its purpose is on this record. There's no fat to trim. There's no bullshit to iron out. In fact, if anything, I've left this album with the notion, with the idea, that making this only a one-disc album, actually compressing it Nuclear Blast, is actually kind of a crime. But I understand what you're trying to go for. I understand what you're trying to go for. That's what you want to do, that's cool. But you're robbing the people of the other songs. And the other songs are very good as well. The 3 songs that they leave out, it's not that they're slouch songs or they're bad songs or anything like that. In fact, they leave out... but the funny thing is that the song that the band considers to be the true end of this record is left out of the single disc edition. It's really weird. I don't know. Like I said, I have never seen this ever happen before in metal, and if it has happened and I've just been blind to it, let me know. These 12 tracks are very well constructed, and they're very well executed. The moods that they're able to really describe on this particular, on this album, on each individual song, very well done. Not to mention, the whole storyline behind it is kind of interesting. The whole idea of robots taking over the world, the whole idea of us soon being the slaves to a robotic master, something that we created, slaves to the creation. Almost as though we designed the Frankenstein monster, and then the Frankenstein monster ensnares us, enslaves us, and makes us fucking make his coffee or something like that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Brave New World in a way, even though it's not really the same concept whatsoever. I also got a glimpse of Paris in the 20th century, just in the way in which there's a real awareness to what could go on. Not to mention the storyline, which is not really a story, it's more of just a concept throughout the entire record. In fact, they, Symphony X themselves compared it to Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It's just very, very aware of the situation, and they take something that seems so outlandish, something that seems so ridiculous, and they make it sound like a real possibility. They really give it a lot of legs. This is a story that they stand behind, a concept that they stand behind, and they just wrote really powerful stuff designed around it. Really, what can be said that I haven't already said? This is an excellent release. This is something I highly recommend to all of you guys, whether you like progressive music or not. The reason why is because if you like progressive music, you're going to worship this album. You're going to get down on your knees, and you're going to kiss this album's feet. You're going to arise. You're going to be erect, and you're going to fucking jack off all over this album. Okay, maybe not that far. I hope you don't, because if you do, that's kind of weird, but I'm not ruling that out for you guys. If you don't like progressive music, this is a progressive album that you can get into. Why? Because even though it does have those same progressive ideas that maybe you're not thrilled with, the dark imagery, the very good songwriting, and the exquisite singing should be more than enough to keep you entertained. And you know what, if you really don't like it, if you really don't like progressive all that much, get the one-disc edition. You'll be happy. But I'm going to say this. My recommendation to the general populace, my recommendation to the Cover Killer Nation, to each and every one of you guys out there individually, get the 2-disc edition of this record. You are going to want the 2-disc edition of this record because all of the songs are worthy of listening to, not just a couple of them. All of them are certainly worth it. This is an album, I just call Ghost the potential #1 album of the year. Symphony X is up there. They did something damn impressive. And since they did, you should check it out. Now I'm going to take this long walk over here to this camera. You're going to get a nice big close-up on me right now. And that's because I'm going to say it straight to your face. Check out this record.